Hi everyone, it's Jaden with Refusing to be Mediocre. Today's video was actually requested by a watcher of mine called Mohib. Thank you for your suggestion on the video I should record next. So today's video was requested that I do my top 5 books to help in personal and career life. So I've actually picked my top 10 books because it's something that I'm very passionate about. I love reading. I love reading all types of books in self-development, career, spirituality, anything that's going to help me improve and grow in my life and become the best version of myself. So the first book that I've got is called Life Mastery. Now this is a YouTuber that I followed and have followed for many years since his career started on YouTube. It is Stefan James at Project Life Mastery. Do check him out. He has some fantastic content on there. He's been YouTubing, I believe, for about 10 years. And it's been amazing to watch him start and watch him grow as much as he has. So he brought out a book called Life Mastery, and this book honestly has so many strategies and principles that have helped change my life. It's one that I often revisit, as it has exercises in it to help you really grow as a person and really, design a life that you are passionate about. And for me, this will be a book that I will continue to use throughout my life. I have tabs all along it for reference points on bits that really inspired me. So I'll give you an example. So one of the exercises in the book is just some questions to for you to journal on. So for example, what is the ultimate vision in my life? So for me, I really like the words he used, like the ultimate vision. That's really like the best life you can envision, and to journal on that. And what do you want your life to be about? That's a question that can leave most people stunned. If you don't know what you want your life to be about, how are you going to create one that inspires you and inspires and helps other people? And another question that's in here is, if there were no limits, what would be possible for my life? It's so easy for us to focus on the limits that we have in our life, but really some of those limits are just in your mind. So it's really cool to do a step-by-step process to really help you expand your mind on what's possible. So that's my first book. That's probably one of the first self-development books I actually read, and it's one that, like I said, I revisit regularly to just help me get to the next level in life. So that's one I definitely recommend. He might even have a up-to-date copy of that. That's quite an old copy. My second book, this is actually my all-time favourite book, and there is actually a movie, but like everybody knows, the movie is never as good as the book. So my second book is The Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman, and this is honestly a fantastic book. It's not so much a self-development book, there's no exercises in it, there's no how-tos, but for me it really expanded my thinking and changed the way I thought about life completely. And he has a series of books, which I won't tell you too much about them because I feel like it will ruin the story for you, but it's definitely one that I recommend. And again, I've read this book a couple of times, and I've read most of his books, to be honest. I'm a big fan of Dan Millman, and feel free to check out the film. It is a good film still, but I would read the book first because you won't get any spoilers. Now my third book is called The Power of Habit. Now, as you know, habits is something I'm hugely passionate about. It's something I talk about a lot because I feel like habits create our life. To me, that is factual, because what you do day in, day out is basically your life. It's, one of my favourite quotes by Robin Sharma is, "Your days are your life in miniature." I think that the power is in what you do every day. What you do daily will create the next 10 years of your life. And where you are today is because of what you have done up to today, if that makes sense. So for me, the power of habit, why we do what we do and how to change. Most importantly on the how to change. It's good to know why you do what you do. It's good to know maybe why you're eating badly. There could be a deep reason for that. It could be a comfort thing. So it's great to work out the why you're doing it, because I feel like you can really grow like personally from that. But I feel like it's also equally important to know how to change. And for me, this book did that for me. It really taught me how to implement new habits and to stick to them. So, fantastic book. The Power of Habit, definitely one to read to change your life. Now, this book, again, was actually one of the first self-development books I read. It's such an easy read. He has a series as well. You know, it's not the only one in this style of writing. Andrew Matthews, Follow Your Heart. He has other ones, I believe, called Being Happy or Be Happy. They're fantastic books. They're so easy to read because they're light-hearted, they're funny, they've got some cartoons in them. He's the illustrator of them as well. And I remember reading, again, I've read this one a good few times and got some tabs just for quick reference. It's called Follow Your Heart, Finding Purpose in Your Life and Work. So many people get caught up in thinking that their purpose is just in their career and their business. It's not. Your purpose is so much bigger than that. And I found this really helped me with all areas of life. So definitely check out Andrew Matthews' books. I've read 3 of them, and I believe there's 4 or 5 of these types in this series. I really recommend them, especially if you're feeling a bit stuck or unsure about what direction you want to go in life. I feel like this gave me a lot of clarity as to what direction to go in and to actually take action towards that. And the 5th book I recommend is another YouTuber that I follow called Alexander Hein, and his book is called Master the Day. Again, it's very similar in the sense of the habit building, but I found this a little bit more just, easier to read and relatable. The way he gives out his message is really relatable. Doesn't use lots of big words and stuff that you don't understand, and I found it was very simple, and it did teach you again the power in your daily routine, your daily habits, but taught you ways to implement new habits simpler so that you continue to do them. And he really focuses more on your health and your body. He's very passionate about taking care of yourself, so it was just a little bit more niched down on being able to implement eating better and exercising. So it's definitely one I recommend, especially if you're looking to get fitter or you're into your health and fitness. A really simple read, but very powerful, and it'll be one that I will revisit again, especially if I want to implement some new habits and to maybe pick up some that I've dropped. And continuing with the sort of daily habits and the disciplines, this book was fantastic. This is called The Slight Edge. And he isn't subtle about his title. It's turning simple disciplines into massive success and happiness. If you're going to go for it, why go small? Just, go for the massive success. And of course you want to be happy. I find that sometimes ambitious people can get so caught up in achieving that we forget to be happy along the way. So this book, I think, is a very good way to remind you to be happy and successful and get the slight edge on life. So definitely recommend that. That's by Jeff Olson. Great book. Now the other ones I jotted down because I listened to them as audio books, which I really recommend because I found that I could get a lot more in. Because I commute and I'm often driving, it's a great way to get extra education and positivity in. So the first one I recommend, especially listening to as an audiobook, because you really feel Grant Cardone's passion and his drive for life and for success. So I listened to the 10x rule. You probably have heard of it. Grant Cardone is very well known, and his brand 10x is huge now. But he talks about, if you haven't heard, the 10x rule basically is to set your goal and then times it by 10, to really dream big and really go for it in life. And for me, this really resonated because I found that when I set a goal I was probably aware that I was going to achieve it, I didn't have the same like passion and motivation for it. So when I set a huge goal, it really, it kind of like pulled me out of bed. I was excited to really go after it. So for example, if your goal is to make £10,000, he basically uses the example to times that by 10, and don't dream small. Like, go for it, go big. So that's the 10x rule. It's a great audiobook, but I'm sure it's a great physical book too, if that's the way you prefer to learn. The second book I recommend listening or reading is The Extreme Ownership. This is by a Navy SEAL, and his name is Jocko, and he really talks about like taking ownership of your life and taking full responsibility for who you are, for where you want to be, and quit blaming everybody else for why you're not where you want to be, but also to take ownership of your mistake. And for me that was very powerful, because it's so easy to blame other people for why you've acted a certain way or why you are a certain way. Really, it's down to you as to why. I mean, I understand that circumstances could have got you to where you are, or maybe had some impact on you, but for me, it taught me how to own my mistakes and really forgive myself in order to be a better person and move on with life. So that was Extreme Ownership by Jocko, who is a Navy SEAL officer, or he was, sorry. And check out his podcast as well. Like, he does some great content. Like, I really recommend his content. And another Navy officer I listen to is Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. If you've not heard of David Goggins, I swear that man is a machine. His content, again, is very powerful, but I really enjoyed his audiobook. I remember listening to it. I was painting my sister's fences in the garden. It was beautiful sunshine, and man, I was so motivated but also like inspired. There's a big difference for me being motivated and being inspired. He inspired me. He came from a hard background, and he did the impossible, or what people said was never going to happen. I won't share too much. I really don't want to spoil it, but it's a great book to listen to or read. And his content, also David Goggins' content, I believe he has a podcast as well, but mostly his YouTube stuff is amazing. So check him out and check out his book. And the last book I have it was completely unique, a completely different book I'd ever read or listened to, and it's called The Power of Vulnerability by Brené Brown. And for me, this was just a very heartwarming book, and it taught, especially for men, I think it taught men that it's okay to be vulnerable, and it's okay to kind of like own your shame or own your mistakes, not to keep everything to yourself. It's a really hard book for me to explain. It was definitely one I remember finishing it and saying to somebody like, wow, like I don't even know how to explain the content that I just heard. And Brené Brown has, again, many other books that I've also listened to, but this was the one that really stuck with me. And she also has a great TED Talk, and I don't know if it's still on Netflix, but she had a documentary on Netflix that was amazing. So check out her work. I find that it's very deep work. So it's stuff, if you really want to heal yourself and really grow as a person, that I find that's what her content does. It takes probably a bit more courage to work with a book like that, but it's very powerful, and yeah, I can't recommend it enough. So those were my top 10 books for changing your personal life, your career. I really find that all of the aspects of life are equally as important and can be changed with content, with books, and the power that we have now to reach information that's life-changing. We are truly like a blessed in the sense of our generation. We can Google something like how to heal this or how to, you know, fix something, and make the most of that. You can literally change your life by watching YouTube, by reading books. You know, not everybody has the ability to go to a therapist or get coaching. So make the most of the resources that you do have, and, you know, have the courage to work through where you've been, you know, stuff that you've done maybe, and, you know, own that stuff and become better in order to help other people and inspire other people, because that's basically what I feel my mission is now, is to help other people that have gone through stuff and or are going through stuff. So I hope this video really helped. Do comment below what book you're going to read first, and feel free if you've got any tips or suggestions on books that you've listened to or read that really helped you change your life, because there is so many out there and everybody loves to get a recommendation. So thank you again to Mohib for recommending this video. If you have a recommendation or something you'd like to know, feel free to comment below. I'll be sure to get back to you. Thank you for watching. If the video helped, give it a thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.